The docking bay of the Andromeda's Folly smelled like ion grease and overcooked coffee. A very human combination, and one the elven dominion never quite understood. Captain Rin Talus was tightening a coupling under the starboard thruster when a metallic voice purred from behind him. Smooth as melted silver. "Careful, human. Your tool's getting a bit too personal." Rin almost dropped his wrench. He looked up to find a towering figure in silver and gold armor watching him, eyes glowing an electric blue that could have powered a small colony. Her skin shimmered with a crimson hue, hair like pale starlight. He blinked. That's because I was working on a coolant line. The thruster, not, anything metaphorical." The armored woman tilted her head, lips curling into what might have been a smile. "You humans and your metaphors. I am Lysara Vaynor, Knight Captain of the Dominion Fleet. I was told you're the mechanic, engineer," Rin corrected, wiping his hands on a rag. "And yeah, I'm the guy who keeps your fancy interstellar toys from exploding." She stepped closer, too close, and examined the half-open panel he'd been working on. Her armor gave a quiet hum, each plate moving with impossible grace. Your craftsmanship is primitive but endearing. You fix things with hands instead of prayer. Yeah, well, your people pray a lot. We just curse until it works." Her eyes flared brighter, and Rin swore he caught the hint of amusement. "Interesting. So your gods are powered by profanity. Mostly caffeine," he said. "Profanity's the backup generator." Lysara let out a sharp, melodic laugh, like silver bells being insulted politely. She knelt beside him, her hair brushing his shoulder. "Show me how your kind repairs plasma conduits. I promise not to disintegrate you if it's impressive." "Comforting." Rin flicked a switch and gestured to the exposed coils. "See this? The conduit's misaligned. If I don't fix it, the whole drive stalls mid-jump." Lysara leaned in, frowning. "Your hands are steady for a species with such limited lifespan." "Hey, we make up for it with enthusiasm." He twisted the spanner, sparks flaring. She didn't flinch, just observed, eyes locked on the glowing metal. "You risk your life for maintenance?" "Only on weekdays," Lysara arched a brow. "And what do you risk on weekends?" "Usually my liver." Her laugh echoed off the metal walls. By the time the thruster hummed back to life, Rin was sweating. Lysara hadn't moved more than a meter from him the entire time, observing every motion like a scientist watching a curious new species. "Functional," she admitted. "Crude but functional. You may yet earn your rations, human." "Oh, great! Validation from the space goddess," he muttered. "Goddess?" she repeated, feigning shock. "No, merely divine adjacent," he smirked. "Guess that makes me mortal adjacent." They stood there. Two people from entirely different worlds, one glowing like a celestial blade, the other covered in grease and sarcasm. And for a moment, the hum of the engine sounded almost like applause. Lysara's tone softened. "Your people, they build rather than conquer. Strange. Admirable." "We also flirt instead of duel," he said casually. Her eyes flicked up. "Is that what you're attempting now?" "Maybe. Is it working?" She considered him for a long moment. "It's inefficient, but entertaining," Rin grinned. "I'll take that as a maybe." Later, in the ship's mess hall, Rin found himself staring into a cup of synth coffee that tasted like recycled optimism. Lysara entered, helmet off, hair cascading like comet trails. Every human in the room pretended not to stare. She sat opposite him. "Your crew avoids me. Is it my armor? It's the glowing eyes and general I could vaporize you vibe." "I have not vaporized anyone in weeks." "Progress," Rin said. She sipped from a mug. Black tea, of course. "You humans fear what you cannot quantify. Yet you talk to your machines as though they are alive." "Yeah, because machines actually listen sometimes." Her lips curved. "I find your sarcasm charming in a self-destructive way," Rin leaned forward. "And I find your condescension oddly flattering." They held each other's gaze, the air between them charged with the same energy that powered the ship. "Tell me, Captain Talus," Lysara said softly, "what do you believe keeps this vessel flying?" He tapped his chest. "Duct tape and human stubbornness." She blinked. I have heard of neither fuel source. You will, he said. Hours later, as the ship drifted through the purple mist of the Veil Nebula, Lysara found him again, this time in the observation deck. The stars painted her armor in silver light. She studied the cosmos with quiet reverence. Your species dreams of touching the stars. Mine dreams of remembering how... Rin stood beside her. Maybe we could meet in the middle. She looked at him then, really looked, and for a heartbeat, the hum of the universe seemed to still. Careful, human, she whispered. Your tool's getting a bit too personal, he chuckled. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Her eyes glowed brighter, not with threat, but with something dangerously close to affection. Then show me, she said. How humans fix more than engines, Rin smirked. That sounds like a long project. I have time, Lysara replied, and curiosity. As the ship slipped into warp, two silhouettes remained at the viewport, a goddess and a grease-covered mortal, arguing softly about whether love could survive faster than light travel. The Andromeda's Folly wasn't designed for diplomacy, but that didn't stop command from assigning. It a mission labeled Peace Escort. Every engineer knew that. Phrase really meant please escort the people least, capable of peace to the most volatile part of the galaxy, Rin. Talus spent the morning tightening bolts and pretending the upcoming rendezvous with the Dominion fleet didn't mean spending 3 solar days inside a flying powder keg with Lysara Vayner, the same elven knight who could disassemble him with either a plasma blade or a well-timed smirk. He tried focusing on the workbench, but her voice came through the calm again. Captain Talus, your thruster alignment is off by 0.05 degrees, he groaned. That's within tolerance. Not within my tolerance. You realize this ship's older than I am? Exactly. It should have retired decades ago. Like most human admirals, he sighed, grabbed his toolkit, and trudged toward engineering. Lysara stood by the console, posture flawless, expression carved from superiority. Her armor gleamed even under the dull ship lights. Rin suspected the armor polished itself out of fear. He opened a panel with a metallic clank. You ever think maybe perfection's overrated? I have never experienced it being inconvenient, she replied. Then you've clearly never dated. Her glowing eyes narrowed. Is that an invitation or a confession? Depends which answer keeps me alive. She tilted her head, feigning thought. Neither. Figures. He adjusted a conduit, muttering under his breath. Lysara watched silently, her gaze flicking between the sparks and his hands. Finally, she said, You use instinct more than procedure. Reckless, yet strangely effective. Yeah, that's called experience. You get it after blowing up the wrong thing a few times. I prefer not to rely on explosions for wisdom. That's because you've never met my old flight instructor. Her brow furrowed. Was he wise? He's still orbiting somewhere near Titan. Does that count? Lysara blinked, unsure whether to laugh or call security. Humans measure success oddly. We call it surviving the day. Anything beyond that's a bonus. By the next shift, the Folly had reached the Dominion rendezvous. The fleet hung in the void, sleek, crescent-shaped vessels glowing like shards of moonlight. Even Rin had to admit they were beautiful, in a smug, expensive sort of way. The comm crackled. Human vessel, state cargo, and intentions, Rin muttered. Cargo, anxiety. Intentions, don't die. Lysara elbowed him lightly. Perhaps less honesty, more diplomacy, he pressed transmit. Andromeda's Folly escorting relief supplies. No hostile intent unless someone cuts in line. There was a pause. Acknowledged. Proceed to Dock 7. Knight Captain Vaynor, welcome home. Lysara's shoulders stiffened. Rin noticed immediately. Not a fan of family reunions? Not when the family thinks I've gone feral, she said flatly. Serving on a human ship is controversial. Well, Rin said, I'm great at being a bad influence. I have no doubt. Docking procedures were always a mess, but docking with elves added layers of etiquette. Rin stepped off the ramp only to be halted by a Dominion officer whose cheekbones looked engineered for judgment. "Remove your boots," the officer ordered. Why?" "Because you carry the dust of inferior worlds." Rin blinked. "Lady, I carry the dust of 15 inferior worlds. It's kind of my brand." Lysara coughed, possibly to hide a laugh. "Captain, comply. It's ceremonial." He sighed, kicked off his boots, and stood barefoot on cold metal. "Happy now?" "My dignity's freezing," the officer sniffed. "You reek of oil." Compliment accepted. Lysara grabbed his arm before diplomacy combusted. "He's with me." The officer's gaze softened slightly. "Then may the stars pity you, Knight Captain." "Too late," Lysara muttered. Inside the Dominion flagship, everything shimmered. Translucent corridors, holographic murals, air that smelled faintly of starlight and disapproval. Rin whispered, "You guys ever heard of color other than silver?" Lysara glanced around. "Silver reflects purity. Yeah, and fingerprints. Humans leave fingerprints on everything," she said. He grinned. "That's called marking territory. Fascinating. Do you also lick things to claim them?" "Only on special occasions." Her eye twitch suggested she regretted asking. They reached the council chamber, a circular room of glowing runes and very serious people. Lysara stood tall before them, helm tucked under her arm. Rin tried to blend in, which was difficult when you're the only one in a grease-stained flight jacket. An elder spoke, voice smooth as stasis gel. "Knight Captain Vaynor, why consort with this human?" Rin raised a hand. "Hi, still here." Lysara ignored him. "Because he saved a Dominion colony when your command hesitated." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The elder's eyes narrowed. "You disobeyed?" Lysara met his gaze. "I adapted," Rin whispered. "She's really good at adapting." "You should see her threaten breakfast," the elder glared. "Silence, human," Rin mimed, zipping his lips. Lysara almost smiled. Almost. After the hearing, they walked the crystalline corridors in silence until Rin finally asked, "So, how much trouble are we in?" She exhaled softly. "Officially? None. Unofficially? They'd exile me if they weren't afraid I'd enjoy it." "Guess I'm contagious," he said. "Insolence appears to spread via proximity, like charm, like fungus." He grinned. "Still counts as life form." She shook her head, but there was warmth in her tone. "You are impossible, human, and yet you keep inviting me to conversations. Perhaps I enjoy observing chaos in controlled doses. Then buckle up, because I come in family-sized portions." That night, back aboard the Folly, the crew celebrated surviving bureaucracy. Someone produced music. Someone else produced terrible dancing. Lysara stood at the edge of the cargo bay, arms crossed, trying not to look fascinated by the chaos. Rin approached with 2 cups. "Synth beer?" "I do not ingest human intoxicants," he offered it anyway. "It's practically sterile, mostly." She took the cup, sniffed, and sipped. Her eyes widened. "It burns." "Yeah, that's the good part." She took another sip. "You drink this voluntarily?" "Only when emotionally stable." "Which is never," Lysara laughed, an unguarded sound that made a few crew members stare. She turned to Rin. "Your people celebrate mediocrity. That's how we stay humble." And drunk. Multitasking is a human virtue. Music shifted to something slower. A few couples started dancing. Rin offered a hand. "Come on, one dance." "No swordplay, I promise." Lysara hesitated. "I do not dance with subordinates." "Good news, I don't take orders." She looked at his extended hand as though it were a puzzle. Finally, curiosity won. She set her cup down and took it. Her touch was warm, unnervingly so. The metal of her gauntlet pressed against his palm as he guided her onto the floor. He whispered, "Just follow my lead." She raised a brow. "That sounds like the beginning of a mistake." "Yep. That's the fun part." They moved awkwardly at first, his steps loose, hers too precise, but eventually found a rhythm halfway between discipline and disaster. "You step on my foot again. I'll assume it's symbolic," she murmured. "Consider it a territorial claim." Her eyes glowed brighter. "You do lick things, don't you?" "Only people who threaten to stab me." "Then I am in grave danger." "Exactly." Their laughter echoed through the bay. After the dance, they drifted toward the observation window again. The nebula beyond shimmered pink and violet. Lysara leaned against the railing, still holding her half-empty cup. "You humans find beauty in chaos," she said softly. "Explosions, storms, emotion. Everything you touch, you break and rebuild stronger," Rin shrugged. "We call it progress. You can't evolve without a few bad ideas. Your species may be the universe's greatest bad idea." Flattered, she smiled faintly. "Do not be." They stood in silence for a long moment, stars flickering across her armor. Finally, she asked, "Tell me truthfully, Rin Talus, why do you risk everything for machines? For missions for people not of your kind?" He thought about it. "Because if we only help our own, the universe stays small." Lysara turned to him, expression unreadable. "Small universes are easier to control." "Yeah," he said. "But big ones are worth the chaos." She studied him a heartbeat longer, then said, almost whispering, "You make chaos sound romantic." "It's my best pickup line." She laughed softly, setting the cup down. "Then perhaps, Captain, you should try something new before I decide chaos is overrated." He stepped closer, enough to catch the reflected starlight in her eyes. "Careful, Knight Captain. I might start believing you enjoy my company." Her lips curved into a smile equal parts challenge and confession. "Don't worry, human. I know what I'm doing." A good morning aboard the Andromeda's Folly usually began with coffee, mild existential dread, and the distant sound of something leaking. This morning began with an explosion. Rin Talus hit the floor before he was even fully awake. The ship lurched, alarms screamed, and his first thought was, "Not again! Engineering to bridge!" He shouted into the comm. "If that was the coffee machine exploding, I'm defecting to the enemy." Lysara's voice came back sharp and composed. "Not the coffee machine. The Dominion flagship has taken damage. Unknown cause? Well, that's new." He grabbed his jacket and sprinted toward the nearest terminal. "How bad?" "Severe. Their reactor's in stasis lock. They request assistance." Rin paused. "You mean they want us to fix their billion-credit Star Cathedral?" "Apparently you have a reputation. For miracles or disasters?" "Both." "Fair enough." By the time Rin boarded the Dominion ship, the situation looked worse. Holographic panels flickered. Smoke curled along the corridors, and somewhere distant, someone was yelling about divine sabotage, which in Dominion language meant, "We have no idea what happened." Lysara met him at the airlock, already in full armor. "Containment fields are unstable." "Follow me." He gave her a grin that didn't quite hide his nerves. "After you, Your Radiance." "Stop calling me that." "Not a chance." They jogged through the glowing corridors until they reached the reactor chamber. Rin stopped short. "Oh, beautiful." "It's the size of a small city." Lysara glanced back. "Is that a problem?" "Only if I have to pay for overtime." He knelt by a control hub, eyes scanning the readouts. Power feedback loop, collapsed stasis seal, fried regulators. You've got a ghost current running through the whole grid." Lysara frowned. "Explain?" "It's like, someone spilled holy water on a power socket." She nodded gravely, as if that clarified everything. Rin sighed. "Okay, I'll need access to the primary conduits, a plasma stabilizer, and a miracle." Lysara's voice softened. "You already have one of those." He looked up. "Which?" "Me," he blinked. "You just set yourself up for a joke, you know that, right?" "I am aware," he smirked. "See, this is why I like you." As they worked, Dominion guards muttered behind them. "The human touches the reactor without permission. He'll curse it. He'll probably explode." Rin grinned. "Tell them I'm a professional." Lysara translated something in rapid Elven. The guards looked slightly less murderous. He whispered, "What did you say?" "That you are expendable." "Appreciate the vote of confidence. Do not thank me too soon." Sparks burst from a conduit, nearly hitting him. He ducked. "Great! Even the ship's trying to kill me." Lysara's hand shot out, deflecting the next burst with her armored gauntlet. "Stay focused, human. Trying. Hard to focus when death's flirting with me." Her tone went dry. "Death has competition." He froze for a half-second before realizing she was smiling. Did you flirt with me back? Focus, Talus. Not answering means yes. Do your job, human. An hour later, sweat streaked his face, and the reactor finally hummed back into rhythm. The power grid restabilized, lights brightened, and nobody had died, always a pleasant surprise. Lysara exhaled softly. You did it. Did it is a strong word. Prevented the universe from detonating prematurely feels more accurate. She looked at him with something almost like admiration. You are remarkably persistent, flattery detected, he said, logging it for future blackmail. Then the Dominion elder stormed in. The same one from the council hearing. Knight Captain, this sabotage was human in origin. Rin groaned. Of course it was. Why not blame the guy who just saved your fancy light bulb? The elder pointed an accusing finger. Convenient that the human appears moments before the attack. Lysara's expression hardened. He saved your ship, or covered his tracks. Rin spread his arms. Oh, sure. I risked third-degree plasma burns for the alibi. Makes total sense. The elder's eyes blazed. You will remain aboard for questioning? Rin looked at Lysara. You gonna let them lock me up? She hesitated, long enough for his stomach to twist. Then she said quietly, No, he stays with me. The elder frowned. That violates protocol. Lysara stepped forward, voice like sharpened ice. Then rewrite it. They left the chamber in silence. When they reached an empty corridor, Rin finally muttered, Thanks, I think. You are welcome. You sure you didn't just claim responsibility too? She stopped walking. Perhaps I did, he rubbed his temples. You know, on Earth we have this thing called plausible deniability. In the Dominion, we call that cowardice. Yeah, well, cowards live longer. She gave him a side look that might have been affectionate. You are proof of that. Hey, I'll take it. Back aboard the Folly, the tension was thick enough to bend light. The crew eyed Rin warily. Word traveled fast, especially when it involved explosions and accusations. He found Lysara in the strategy room staring at holographic schematics. You think it was really sabotage? He asked. Without doubt, she said, but not yours. Good to know someone believes in me. I did not say I believe in you. Close enough. She gestured at the hologram. The reactor's failsafe was deliberately overridden from an external signal. Dominion encryption. No human could access it, Rin frowned. So someone in your fleet set you up? Her jaw tightened. Someone wishes to end this alliance before it begins. Then we find them. You and I? He shrugged. You've got brains, armor, and terrifying charm. I've got a wrench and an above-average sense of humor. Perfect combo. Her eyes softened despite herself. Very well. But we proceed discreetly. Discreet's my middle name. Your personnel file says otherwise. You looked at my file? She turned away. It was required. Uh-huh. Bet you read the fun parts twice. She didn't answer. That was answer enough. They traced the signal to a cargo bay on the Dominion flagship. The place was dark, full of humming crates and ominous shadows. Rin whispered, You know, every time we sneak into dark rooms together, something explodes. Then stay behind me. Not a complaint. She glared over her shoulder. You test my patience, human. Just making sure it still works. Lysara scanned the room, armor faintly glowing. They found a small transceiver hidden behind a storage unit, its casing marked with Dominion runes. Rin crouched. That's your tech. Somebody really wants this alliance dead. She nodded grimly. Deactivate it. He reached out, and alarms blared. Oh, for a blast door slammed shut behind them. Drones dropped from the ceiling, eyes glowing red. Rin muttered, You didn't mention they had guard dogs. They did not last time I was here? Great. Your people updated security just to kill us. Efficient. She ignited her blade with a hiss of light. Cover me. Gladly, he said, grabbing a plasma wrench. The fight was chaos. Sparks, smoke, laughter that probably counted as hysteria. Lysara moved like a storm, slicing drones apart. Rin improvised with tools, yelling helpful things like, That one's behind you, and I'm not cleaning this up. When the last drone fell, Lysara stood panting, armor scorched. Rin was half covered in soot. Remind me, he said between breaths, to never volunteer again. You did not volunteer. Then I'm retroactively declining. She wiped her blade clean. You fight. Creatively, thanks. I aim for stylish incompetence, Lysara smiled faintly. You succeed. They escaped before more guards arrived, limping back to the folly. Once aboard, Rin collapsed in the mess hall chair. Next time someone says peace mission, I'm bringing extra bandages. Lysara sat opposite, removing her gauntlets. Without armor, she looked almost human. He said quietly, You know, for someone who claims to hate humans, you're awfully good at saving one. She met his gaze. Perhaps I find you educational? That's one word for it. She leaned forward slightly, voice softer. Rin Talus, when this alliance ends, what will you do? He smirked. Hopefully live. And if we survive? He paused. Then maybe, just maybe, I'll take you to a planet where the stars aren't trying to kill us. Teach you how to fix something simple, like a toaster. Her lips curved. A noble ambition. Yeah, I'm all about noble ambitions lately. A quiet moment stretched between them. The hum of the ship filled the silence. Lysara reached across the table, fingers brushing his hand. Careful, human, she murmured. He smiled. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Her expression said she wasn't sure he did, but she didn't pull away. Outside the viewport, the Dominion fleet shimmered, unaware that two of its least compatible officers were planning to save it and possibly ruin interstellar diplomacy forever. Sleep was a myth aboard the Andromeda's Folly. After the sabotage and the diplomatic disaster, every corridor hummed with nerves. Even the coffee machine blinked. Error. Existential crisis. Rin Talus had been awake 30 hours, staring at schematics that refused to make sense. He'd traced the sabotage signal through 6 firewalls, 3 decoy transmissions, and 1 cat video file labeled Important Political Documents. Whoever the culprit was, they were smart and probably laughing. Lysara entered without ceremony, her armor off, hair tied back, eyes hard. You look terrible. Thanks, he said. It's part of my charm package. I meant you look exhausted. Same thing. She handed him a nutrient pack. Eat. You cannot solve interstellar conspiracies while starving. He sniffed the pouch. Smells like regret. Regret keeps humans alive. He squinted at her. You're awfully philosophical for someone who just called me a walking biohazard yesterday. I adapt. That's what scares me. Hours later, they found the final clue. A Dominion encryption key buried deep inside the Folly's communication logs, meaning the saboteur wasn't just Dominion, they were on her ship. Rin looked up slowly. You said your people hated this alliance. You think someone followed you? Lysara's jaw tightened. Possible. My appointment to this vessel was contested. Contested as in political drama, as in assassination attempts. Right. So a slow week then. They gathered the crew in the cargo bay. Everyone looked jumpy. Rin projected the data on a wall of light. Here's the deal, he said. Someone aboard used our comm relay to trigger the reactor cascade. That someone's still here. Lysara stood beside him, hands clasped behind her back, calm, controlled, terrifying. Whoever did this intends to destroy the Alliance and discredit both our species, a nervous ensign muttered. So no movie night? Rin sighed. Not unless it's a murder mystery. The culprit revealed itself sooner than expected. When the bay lights flickered, Rin felt the hair on his arms rise. He turned just in time to see one of the Dominion envoys, Sir Kyle, tall, immaculate, the kind of man who polished his moral superiority daily, draw a pulse pistol. Step away from her, Kyle snarled. The Alliance is a disease. Humanity infects everything it touches. Rin raised both hands. Buddy, if you wanted a therapy session, we could have skipped the gun. Lysara's voice went cold. Kyle, you dishonor the Dominion. I cleanse it, Kyle snapped. You've let this creature corrupt you, Rin muttered. Always nice being discussed like an exotic fungus. Kyle sneered. You taught her disobedience, emotion, Weakness. Yeah, Rin said. We call that having a personality. You should try it. Kale's weapon glowed brighter. You will watch him die, Knight Captain. Lysara moved faster than thought. Her blade ignited in a burst of light, deflecting the first shot. Rin dove behind a crate, shouting, "For the record, this does not count as a date!" The fight tore through the bay. Sparks rained. Alarms screamed. Kale fought with surgical precision. Lysara with fury. Rin tried to disable the ship's grav stabilizers. If he couldn't outfight Kale, maybe he could out-engineer him. "Rin!" she shouted, blocking another blast. "Whatever you're doing, do it now!" He grinned grimly. "Working on it!" Little busy not dying. He yanked a power conduit loose, jammed a spanner into the junction, and slammed a switch. The bay lights went out, replaced by red emergency strobes. Gravity flickered. Kale stumbled mid-leap. Lysara seized the opening, knocking the weapon aside and sending him crashing to the floor. Rin flicked the comm. "Security, we've got a live one!" Kale spat. "You think this changes anything? The council will—" "Shut up," Rin said, then zapped him with a stun pulse. Diplomatic immunity revoked. After the chaos, the folly felt strangely quiet. The Dominion fleet sent apologies, medals, and approximately 14 bureaucratic forms titled Incident of Heroic Impropriety. Rin filled out exactly one line. Saved universe again. Lysara signed it without comment. Later, in the observation deck, they watched the stars drift by, peaceful for once. Rin leaned against the railing. "So, we survived interstellar politics, sabotage, and moral lectures. What's next?" Lysara stood beside him, hands clasped. "According to Dominion protocol, I should return for debriefing." He nodded slowly. "And according to human protocol, I should pretend I'm okay with that." Silence stretched between them, heavy but not uncomfortable. "Do you regret it?" he asked finally. "Working with you," she said, "frequently, falling for me." She looked at him then, really looked, eyes soft but steady. "Constantly," he chuckled. "At least you're consistent. You are chaos wrapped in stubbornness," she said. "And yet, you repair things no one else can. Guess I fixed you then." Her lips curved. "Temporarily, I'll take it." The ship's AI interrupted with perfect timing. "Captain Tallis, new directive. Dominion-Human Alliance requesting joint exploratory mission." Rin groaned. "You gotta be kidding," Lysara smirked. "Your people call this fate, yes? We call it cosmic punishment. Same meaning." She extended a hand. "Shall we tempt fate once more, human?" He took it. "Tempting fate's kind of our brand." They stood together as the folly jumped to warp, starlight stretching into brilliant lines. Rin said quietly, "Careful, Knight Captain. Your tool's getting a bit too personal." Lysara's eyes glowed faintly, amused. "Don't worry, human. I know what I'm doing." He grinned. "You always do." The star swallowed them whole. Two silhouettes framed in light, proof that somewhere between machinery and miracles, between sarcasm and sincerity, a human and an alien could find common ground. Not perfect, not peaceful, but real. If you enjoyed their story, keep the engines humming. Share, careful. Human, your tool's getting a bit too personal. And tell someone that sometimes the universe's strangest repairs start with the smallest spark.